year.
So
This
name
past year.
five teams better than those five teams in the Pac-12.
Let me go ahead and pull this up because this is what I'm saying. This was the most deepest conference. The Pac-12 this year was the most deepest conference in the country. Top down, you didn't necessarily get a day off by any means. So just look at the standings here, right? So we got a team. The worst team in the conference was Colorado Buffaloes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 1-8. If you want to talk about the top down, you got Washington playing in the national championship. We got Oregon in there, who's number 16. They're 12-2, only two losses being to Washington. The Arizona Wildcats, right? We watched them. It didn't matter who they were playing that week. And granted, they ended up finishing off number 11 in the country, including a 38-24 Oklahoma win in the Alamo Bowl. But we watched them. They had an early season loss in overtime, Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
They go ahead. They have a 7-point loss hosting Washington. They had a 2-point overtime loss to USC.
Mm-hmm.
Blew out Washington State. But at the time, Oregon State was ranked number 11 in the country. They beat them 27-24. Oregon State ended up being finishing off the number 16 team in the country, or number 19 come bowl season. Let's see, it's another one. Obviously, they got a hold of UCLA, got a hold of Colorado. The Utah Utes were Pac-12 champions last year, and they were down. Granted, because they were missing their starting quarterback. And then that's just who Arizona faced. So I'm looking at Washington, Oregon, Arizona, Oregon State, Utah Utes, who were the Pac-12 champions last year, and you got the USC Trojans, who has the reigning Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback.
Here, but okay. I'm not
So,
gonna lie. With these teams you're naming, those five, I'm taking the top five in the SEC this year.
Of course, I'm just saying, running from top down, the toughest gauntlet to run.
Okay, all right. So
considering
Colorado, let's take look. So let's take
Bama
and Georgia off the map, and let's take Washington and Oregon off the map. So now let's pull up Ole Miss. I'm taking Ole Miss over who you said Arizona. That's who you're talking about. Arizona,
Ole Miss over Arizona.
Utah. I'm taking Missouri and Ole Miss over who you said Arizona, Oregon State.
Like I said, top heavy versus completely running the gauntlet. They had a full conference schedule that wasn't fucking easy. Okay. That's all I'm saying. It just wasn't easy.
Okay. I can respect
that. Yeah. I've always stated SEC obviously is the best top end talent. They're the best conference in the country in that perspective. But this year, you look at a team like Stanford, who was 2-7. Mm-hmm. And why won't it load their schedule? It's trying to load next year's schedule. Look, it's loading in the ACC. But you look at a team like Stanford, you look at a team like Cal. I think Cal, they end up going. Who did they have? That was, I think they hosted Auburn. That was a 14-10 ball game that went all the way into like 11 o'clock at night. You're looking at a team, Cal. Granted, they put up 32 against Washington Huskies. Put up 32 points against the Washington Huskies. You just don't know what you're going to get out of some of these teams. Yeah, they gave up 59, but they put up 32 points against the team that doesn't really give up points. It's hard. They're very physical. It's hard to give up points. So I think they had a 50-49 loss to USC this year. It just didn't matter what team you're playing, they're going to play you tough and top down. Every single game in the Pac-12 is going to be somewhat close.
Well,
or somewhat competitive.
The Pac-12 is done next year. There is no more.
Oh, it's absolutely done.
No
and I remember me and you having a conversation before. We had a conversation about if the SEC And I argued against divisions. So obviously, with the addition
I had an
with
argument with
Texas,
my dad about this last week.
yeah, that division stuff is gone. It's going to now be the top two teams in the conference, and the Big Ten and Big Ten and the SEC. No more divisions. Top two teams in the conference and going to play in that championship game. So I'm excited for that.
But
For sure.
I feel like that'll work now though, since it's going to be a 12-team playoff.
Yeah, it works. I mean, it didn't even matter. I mean, the divisions kind of made lopsided um, lopsided title games anyways. Like the Big Ten championship game was a travesty the last few years. So yeah, it was an absolute travesty the last few years watching the Big Ten championship game. It wasn't even a championship game. It was a ass whooping.
Yeah.
You know who's going to win going in? The Iowa Hawkeyes were not better than three teams on the Big Ten East.
Yeah.
They weren't even better than probably the fourth best team. And they were in the championship game. We just didn't like it. Didn't like that.
Yeah.
Same thing could be said for the SEC a couple of years ago when you look at how LSU got in, and because of the divisions standpoint, I definitely would have probably liked to see a Tennessee team up in that championship game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's just how the ball rolls. So let me pull up these notes that I had.
Well, are y'all ready to start?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was already recording because I like y'all little debate, so that was thank you for that. For everybody, welcome back to another episode of Takes on the Yard. It's been a while. Happy New Year's, everyone. We got a great episode today, all football today, and brought on two people who I know when it comes to football, they know everything. So I got Alabama super fan Andrew. What's up, man? And then I got Georgia super fan, like everything Georgia. That's East right there.
Yes, sir.
What's up?
Yeah.
So, just to address the biggest news this week, it was a lot of big news this week, but the biggest news this week was Nick Saban retiring, and so that's the reason why I had Gaskin come on. So, Saban, he did an interview with Reese Davis yesterday or a couple days ago, and the first question was, why did you retire? And one of the main reason was Saban's age. Like Saban is in his 70s and things like that. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I watched a little bit of the interview, and I know that he said that the grind of everyday coaching became a factor. I mean, it was Kevin Steele ended up retiring on the defensive side, and it kind of aligns with. He stated that this year it was a more grueling year. And he didn't want to discredit the job that the players have done by any means, but he had to help out with the defense a lot this year more than previous years. It took a lot out of him being more involved in the day-to-day operation and of the defense, and it kind of weighed on him, like as if he wasn't giving his best self to the other parts of the football team. And granted, I've been watching the Alabama defense throughout this entire year, and it was it was honestly a really great defensive output. Just to see the two masterminds behind the two masterminds, being the defensive coordinator and Nick Saban working with that defense a lot. That was it was really great to watch them come out and watch. I think I was at the Ole Miss versus Alabama game, and I want to say, and I have to look up the final stats on it, but I think Jackson Dart got sacked like 6 or 7 times, and he got hit another 12. I don't even think he got sacked more than 3 times the entire year and hit more than 5. Mm-hmm. So it got to the point at the end of the game. I just remember Jackson Dart took a hit, and the guy just could barely even get up, like he had just seen ghosts. Like, it was a master class. We watched Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin come in, only put up 10 points at Alabama, and 7 of them were in the first quarter. Mm. And that just went on to show how great they were in applying physical pressure up front. And that's really what got them to where they were. It wasn't necessarily the offense that really put up lightning numbers, so to speak. We've definitely seen a lot more flashier offenses in the past, and this year just definitely wasn't one of those years. Just looking at like what Alabama did against Arkansas, I think it was a 24-21 game, and that was a tough physical game that probably shouldn't even been that close. Jalen Milroe got sacked about 44 times, I think. It was the most in Alabama history this year, and we still managed to get to the college football semifinal. And I would not say it's because of the fact that Jalen Milroe passed for 2,800 yards and he had 23 touchdowns and 6 picks, and the guy only ran for 531 yards, considering how much he likes to run. He had 161 rushing attempts. I just figured that it'd probably be a little bit more, but he averaged 3.3 yards a carry because the offensive line was just getting dominated up front. It was kind of hard to see. But when you look at a team defensively, and defensively they had, I want to say, they had, I think, about double the amount of tackles for losses than sacks. They were just absolutely destroying people in the run game. And so that's just like what my overall thing was, just really credit Coach Saban about how great he was and Coach Steele as well, about coaching up that defense. It was absolutely an amazing sight to see and watching that tough physical team. And you see me even in the college football semifinal, that Michigan team could put up points on you in a hurry. And it took it wasn't until the defense finally gave out and was too tired into the last drive of the regulation and overtime, and they just couldn't make tackling anymore. They just couldn't tackle as much. They just got physically dominated. But I know that he stated that if he commit, it was hard for him to make a commitment to being there 4 to 5 years, and people wanting assurances. And especially when he's getting up there 70, 71, 72 years old, he holds himself to a high standard, how he does things, and he just felt he couldn't do it, that there's never a good time to retire, but right now was the right time.
I saw somewhere that the Bama defense was like ranked 5th in the SEC, and so there's not a bad defense at all, but like you said, they just got tired in the end, like especially in that semifinal game against Michigan. And you all talked about it like right before we started, is that Nick Saban retiring, people thought that like when he retired, that meant this was the end of Bama. And East, you touched on it a little bit. East and Gaskin, y'all both touched on it. How like this isn't the end. Like there's still a whole bunch of players like from that past recruiting class before Nick Saban retired. And so for the people that are excited, to think about like Bama's finally gone, like maybe my school can do something. Like what do y'all have to say to them? Like,
bro, like Bama still has the pieces that they have right now. They're always going to be. Well, I'll say for the next few years, they're still going to be at the top of the conference. Whoever they bring in is going to be an elite head coach with a good track record. Whoever it is, they're not going to just bring in somebody who has nothing going on behind them with no experience in that. They're going to bring in someone who's elite, who's going to be a great recruiter, who's going to keep that going, who's going to be able to utilize the talent that they already have. So I definitely don't feel like Bama is going anywhere. They're still going to be at the top of this conference.
And just going back to, as I was finally able to pull it up, actually Pro Football Focus had Alabama with the 5th best Power 5 conference defense in the country, actually. So, and number 6 in rush defense, they have a number 7 tackling defense, and the number 8 pass rush. So, in the 2nd best coverage grade amongst all teams in Power 5 conference play. Only behind, I think Michigan actually ran the table in most of that. So Michigan had the number 1 coverage defense. Michigan had the 3rd pass rush. Michigan was the 2nd best tackling team, only behind Georgia, and the 2nd best rushing defense team. and they were the best defense in Power 5 football was Michigan football this year. So um, that was, I felt like, honestly, we outplayed our some of our potential. I just don't think this was some of the Bama teams that we've seen in the past. When you look at a team like Josh Jacobs and Najee Harris and Damian Harris and Bo Scarborough with Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa behind the center, and on the defensive side, you got Minka Fitzpatrick and you got Jonathan Allen, someone of that nature. I just didn't get that same feel from one of those teams this year, and we still went very, very far. But I do think next year there's 4 or 5 star recruits that redshirted this year. We have the number 2 recruiting class this upcoming year for the 2024 class, and it's still going to be a harsh output. And just looking at the head coaching availabilities and Kellen DeBoer, potentially finalizing a contract with Alabama, it just going to pick up right where they left off.
Mm-hmm. Charles, were you going to say something?
Oh yeah, I was just going to say I feel kind of the same way he said. I think if the coach they bring in doesn't automatically pick up where they left off, I feel like he's going to face some type of scrutiny.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's
You're
going to
in
be
Alabama. You're going to face scrutiny. If you ever follow behind a goat in any role, it's like the Yankees looking for the next Derek Jeter. They're not going to get it. But every time that shortstop makes an error, you're going to hear some scrutiny. It's just how it is. And you're shortstop for the Yankees, you're kind of expected to fill up to a certain standard that's set before you. It's what we're going to see next in the next point guard to lead the Golden State Warriors. It's just you got to live up to a certain standard on the shoes that you're filling in.
So Gaskin, you just called Nick Saban the GOAT. So that was going to be my next question for you. Do you think there will ever be, in years to come, you think there will ever be another college head coach to have the same track record as Nick Saban?
Of course. The previous main GOAT that gets brought up before Nick Saban was Bear Bryant. It might be another 15 years before we realize who that is, but even then, just thinking of the young coaches that are here now, we just obviously don't know how things are going to play out. But the Kirby Smarts of the world could very well be that. I think the young Dan Lanning over in Oregon is another guy that you just going to the Big Ten who. And I know you guys are East Coast boys, but Oregon had a chokehold on. Oregon has a chokehold image on the West Coast, especially in Northern California. That just the fact that you got a school that's the founder of Nike went to, got that whole facility made by Nike. It's kind of ridiculous. Go there and all of a sudden get 3 free cleats, like customized, like. Oh, you want some gloves? Okay, well, you have custom gloves for free. Just handed them out to you. The helmets, I think, growing up, the chrome helmets they had, and all the different helmet combinations. It's just something that just looks really, really good for young middle school to high school kids. And going to the Big Ten is only really going to help that image even more than what it already is. Knowing that now you're not gonna be deciding, oh, do I go to, especially in terms of 5-star recruit in California, Texas, and Florida, obviously producing the most 5-star recruits every single year, 5 and 4-star recruits every single year. No longer are they going to be deciding, do I go to USC or do I go to Oregon? It's just kind of like the way that we've all grown up. Now you've got 4 teams that are going to the Big Ten. They got to play against some pretty quality competition every single year. I was having this conversation the other day. The Big Ten, however, and we were talking about this earlier. We talked about the running the gauntlet of the Pac-12 being the deepest conference. that Big Ten, man, is probably the most top end conference with some stuff at the bottom that is like, how are you even Power Five football? I mean, when's the last time we've ever seen Rutgers be good? Virtually anything, you know. And I'm like, when's the last time we seen Maryland compete for a national championship?
How do you feel about like how the conferences are getting shaken up, though?
Oh
How
my
do you feel,
goodness.
how do you feel about Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC? How you feel about the new Big Ten? Isn't it like two teams from the West joining the ACC too? How do you
Yeah,
feel about that?
USC. I mean, not USC. Cal and Stanford. It is. It sucks for me. I'm a West Coast boy. It's all I ever grew up with. I grew up watching Pac-12 football, basketball, baseball. Um, just to know that we won't really get to see that Stanford versus USC game anymore. We won't see that Cal versus UCLA game or Stanford versus USC game. Those are pretty much arch rivals, and now we've got the Southern California. There's only four Power Five conference teams in the state of California, and there's four in the state of North Carolina, which also speaks to why the ACC is probably so bad. I'm not going to go there though. Anyways, but just knowing, like, you grow up the Pac-12 and watching it get disbanded the way that it did, I actually did a project with the MEAC, Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, and kind of covered a lot of conference realignment. And this was a rebranding and sponsorship proposal. But I'm sorry if I'm getting a little off topic. But that really opened my eyes to what all the moving parts are and to why this conference realignment is happening. And when you look at a contract like the Big Ten, you look by 2030, teams are going to be getting $100 million in TV revenue, and the Pac-12 had no contract. I mean, I understand why they moved conferences. And you look at a team, schools. I mean, look at the Big 12. I think it's like $50 million per year by 2030 or 2032 or something like that. That is, and the Pac-12 had zero on there. And you look at the ACC, and I think they're projected to be 40, which is part of the reason why teams aren't necessarily moving to the ACC outside of SMU and Cal and Stanford just doing desperation picks for the ACC at the last point. In terms of the competition, though, it's going to be something that we have never seen, and I'm excited for it. Just knowing that we watched the Big Ten matchup.
I'm happy. I'm happy that this is happening during the first year of 12-team playoffs. Like, I'm so excited for next season. Like, it's going to be, I think it's going to be the greatest season in like college football history. Like, I think college football is definitely about to change, and I think it's going to change for the better, bro. Like, I've always wanted the college football playoffs to be more than 4 teams. I mean, I wanted 8, but I'll take 12. I don't even care. Like, I'll take 12. I'm excited for this next season, bro. Like, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. And speaking to it, I really love the 12-team playoff because it allows us. I feel that it's going to allow teams to not be as reserved and schedule and having a hard schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, each team's conference is already tough, and especially coming up with these next with the main 4 conferences coming up. But now we're able to probably see Ohio State versus Alabama game in September. Instead of them watching play Mercer or some FCS school, or one of these big time schools playing Mercer, because they don't want to go in and say if they were to lose that game by 1 point, and the Booker McFarlands of the world are saying a loss is a loss. It doesn't matter if it's to Rutgers or if it's to Michigan. A loss is a loss. You're 12-1. You're 11-1, and you now all of a sudden that loss is being held against you higher. Harder. When it comes playoff time, you're probably not getting in. I mean, you have to try to make a case to get in because of your loss. Outside of the Florida State debacle, because they had the 55th hardest schedule, and their point differential was somewhere that was probably not the greatest.
Okay, we all understand why Florida State didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like back to like the point you was making. Like, yeah. So like next year we got UGA going away to Bama. You got UGA going away to
Well, that's actually
Texas.
a part of the SEC schedule.
Yeah, I know.
That's a
And
part. That's
now I think it's like 10 conference games now. I think it's
yeah.
something like that now.
I think
So
it's still
I,
8 or 9. I think. But
I
yeah,
think it went up though. I think it went up.
yeah, it
Like,
has to.
yeah, so like I'm excited for these matchups. Like I'm excited to be
The one I was looking at, we've got
I'm
a Texas versus Michigan game.
next year.
Yeah.
Wait, so I know they got don't they got to play y'all too? I know they got to play us.
Let me just make sure I'm getting this right before I start saying false things on the air. Yeah, they open up the second game of the year. They go to play in Ann Arbor. So I think the 12-team playoff really opens up for that, and it's gonna be one hell of a year, you know. And one loss not gonna be hung over your head as much. You still have a shot to get in, and it's no longer a difference in opinion amongst the top 4.
And
I should say.
honestly, the 12-team playoff. Another thing it's gonna do is gonna take some pressure off the committee on happening to worry about getting
Yeah.
the
So, like, here's my issue. Here's my issue with the 14 playoff, especially the whole deserving to be in the playoff type of rule. It's like the top 4 teams are ranked differently than the rest of the other 4 teams. When you talk about the 12th team and the 15th team, it's a matter of who's better. But when you talk about the 5th or the 6th, the 4th or the 5th team, talking about who's the most deserving. You switch it up for who's deserving of being in the playoff,
yeah.
as opposed to we talking about the difference between the 12th and the 25th. You don't matter. You don't say who's the most deserving to be number 12. You say who's the best freaking team.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the top 4, it changes just because there's a playoff involved. And so this team beat this team beat this team, and I think one of the biggest travesties. I won't even say it's a travesty, but the Texas Longhorns got in, and I personally wasn't even 100% fond of it because, granted, they did beat Alabama, and I'll say that they also didn't look like as good of a team as other teams. And my thing was with Texas Longhorns, they had the worst loss out of everybody in the top 7. All right, lost to Oklahoma. Yeah, they beat Alabama in week 2.
It's like,
but they lost to Oklahoma. That was the worst loss out of everybody.
I was so angry about the Georgia, about the SEC championship game, and like I said, I never complained about us not getting into the playoffs. Like I understood why they did it. Although I do feel like we are definitely a top 4 team in this.
Y'all should have made it easy, bro. Y'all got
we definitely
snubbed.
are a top 4 team, but I understood why they did it. And I feel like we proved this. We proved why Florida State should not have been in. Everybody was complaining, saying, "Oh, Florida State is most deserving." Whatever. They didn't even have a quarterback. If you would have matched Florida State up against any of the top 5 teams, the 4 teams that was in, match them up against us. You seen what we did. You can't even match them up against Oregon. They wouldn't have been favored in none of those games. They wouldn't have won.
Yeah, no.
And that's what I'm saying.
That was the
It has
thing.
nothing to do. And it's not about most deserving. Honestly, we should have been over Texas. But what hurt us on that is that y'all lost to Texas, and that's even why they put them over y'all. Honestly, y'all are a better team than them. Y'all should have been the 3. We should have been the 4. That's how it should have been. If anybody would have even matched, if they even would have matched Texas up against us, we would have been favored probably by 10 points. And they say it's the best 4 teams. That's why I'm happy it's 12 teams playoff. And like I said, I wasn't complaining. Oh well, I accepted it. We lost SEC championship, so they didn't put us in. Okay, I didn't complain or nothing about that. But if it was truly top 4 teams, we would have been in there, and we definitely would have been favored over Texas. But it's okay. I'm not even tripping. I'm just excited for next year. It is what it is.
Yeah, you have to look back at last year, and you look at Alabama being snubbed out by TCU. Pretty much ruined it for Florida State. Because the 65-7 national championship game is a travesty to the sport. that you even put them in that situation. And granted, they did hold their own against
Michigan.
Michigan, but obviously the true colors came out on who that team really was. Um, Florida State would have had a similar situation. It's the same thing that I stated that was going to happen to Cincinnati years ago,
Yeah.
when they shouldn't have been in, and they weren't even a Power Five conference team.
Yeah.
Um, and that's just where it was at. I think last year Alabama had 2 losses that were last second losses. Had an overtime loss at LSU, with a hurt Bryce Young, who was playing just removed from a dislocated shoulder, and he was still trying to throw the ball, but overtime loss on a 2-point conversion, and we got the tip field goal that snuck through the bars in Tennessee with a hurt Bryce Young. So, and those 2 losses dangled more over us than a team that went and had 6 victories by 1 possession versus unranked teams. But they got in.
It's okay though. It's okay though because it's 12-team playoff now, bro.
12-team playoff fixes that out. Fixes that most deserving, bull. As Shannon Sharp says, bull jive, and we're good to go. We're good to go and enjoy this college football season the way that we want to. So I'm truly excited for the new format with 4 teams, with all the different Pac conferences. We got obviously adding Cal and Stanford to the ACC. We've got Oregon, Washington, UCLA, USC to the Big Ten, and we got virtually the rest of the Pac-12 teams heading to the Big 12. It's really a sight to see on what's going to happen, especially come the first time we're going to be experiencing the conference championship games as deep as they are, and as important as they're going to be. So, and the top 4 conference champions get a bye in that playoff. That's something that may even add more value to that conference championship game.
All right, so we spent a lot of time on that, but I'm not mad at all. This is why I brought y'all on, because y'all know what y'all talking about. Y'all smart. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to we're gonna go to NFL now. First, like I said at the beginning of the episode, a lot of news came out this week. Another big piece of news that came out was the Falcons firing Arthur Smith. And that's big because we're all in Atlanta. And so we all see, the stuff that the Falcons go through, how we see on Twitter and social media, how much Falcons fans wanted Arthur Smith gone, how much they had to deal with Desmond Ridder and things like that. And so, like I say, East is one of the biggest Falcons fans, the biggest Falcons fan I actually know. East, how happy are you that Arthur Smith is gone?
What was the last thing you said? I couldn't hear you.
So how happy are you that Arthur Smith is gone?
Bro, I'm happy. I'm excited. This was just this was like
sound
one
like
of the
me with
most,
Josh McDaniels.
this was like honestly like the most disappointing year that I've ever experienced as a Falcon fan. We came into this year with such high hopes for the team. We came in having the weakest strength of schedule. We had the weakest schedule in the league, the weakest division in the league. 3rd year head coach after going 7-10, we're supposed to take that next step up. So this year was super disappointing. We started off the year 2-0. I'm thinking, hey, we're here. It's time. It's time for us to finally have our first home postseason game, and then it just started going down here. We lost to the 5 worst teams in the league. We lost to a Vikings team who brought in a quarterback 5 days, and he comes in and wins that game. We go to Arizona, lose to a 1-loss Arizona Cardinals team. We go to Carolina in the rain,
1 win Arizona
lose to a 1-loss Panthers team. We lose to the Commanders, a game we should have won. We go to Chicago 2 weeks ago. They put up 37 on us. So going into this last week, at New Orleans, of course I wanted to win. We still had a shot to make the playoffs. First of all, he had way too many chances anyways. We should have been running the table. it shouldn't have come down to the last few weeks for us to decide if we're going to make it to the playoffs or not. So going into that game, yes, I wanted to win, but what I wanted more was us to get rid of Arthur Smith. So it's like I'm watching the game. Yeah, I do want this win, but it's like at the bigger picture, I don't want Arthur Blank, our owner, getting blinded by this unnecessary win, thinking that he can come on next year and waste another year. And we got too much talent, bro. This was the first time. This was the first time I think in over 20 years that the Falcons had a top 10 defense. We had our last three picks were all in the top 10 offensive players. Our offense is terrible. Top 10 defense. We got all these pieces on offense. We got a terrible offensive scheme. I've been telling people like the whole year, that's what the Falcons problem is. It's play calling. It's the scheme. We don't know how to utilize our players. And guess who's our offensive coordinator? Our head coach, Arthur Smith. So hey, like I'm excited now. I'm excited for the future, bro. Like we got the pieces. We are right there. Our division is not good at all. So hopefully we can get us an offensive-minded head coach, get us a new quarterback. If we can make a trade for Justin Fields, I'll take that. Or if we could trade up in the draft, get us a Jaden Daniels, I'll take that. Or hey, if we could trade and get the number one pick and get Caleb Williams, I definitely take that too. So like I'm excited. Also nervous. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I am happy that Arthur Smith is going though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned it earlier. Yeah, the Falcons were 2-6 against teams that finished the season with losing records, and like that's just I don't understand like how that can even happen. And at some point in the season, you all were going to the playoffs. Like it was like almost set in stone. Like the Falcons will make the playoffs. Then everything just dropped off, and it was like, what in the world? And this is Arthur Smith's third year where he went 7-10 with the Falcons. So there was something there that he was doing that was clicking,
He got
and then it
worked.
just
Yeah, actually, bro. Look. So we went 7-10, 7-10, 17. This year was terrible though. Like
This was the easiest schedule. He went 7-10. He
right.
got worse.
we got worse, bro. With a top 10 defense. But continue what you were saying, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up some little insight on what Pro Football Focus said. They had the Falcons with the 12th best defense. They had the second best rushing defense. 11th best tackling. The pass rush was 27th. And their coverage grade was 26th. That's just where they ranked that defensively. But the travesty to them was really, to me, just looking at the offensive playmakers that they had and the hysterical underutilization of Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson was just it's hard to watch.
So with that being said, the thing is, like, if you actually sit and watch the Falcon games, it's deeper than that. Like, yes, we definitely we're misusing our players, but you got to see why we are misusing our players. If you look at our scheme, we have this high school scheme offense that we're running, the Arthur Smith offense. You got these motions, you got T formations, three people in the back. Like, bro, what NFL offense is going to be successful in this? None.
Yeah, I think
Only
it was in
one is Lamar Jackson.
2022. You guys ran 50% of the time.
Like, bro,
most by
it's
any
no way
team.
we were going to be successful. And people are saying, "Oh, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball." I mean, yeah, run the ball, but it's like, look at our scheme. We're not going to be successful either way it go. Look, bro, like we went to the Super Bowl in 2016. We averaged over 30 points a game. That's what we're used to in Atlanta. We're used to high-powered offenses. That's what we should be right now. We have the pieces. We should be a high-powered offense, bro. I'm talking about averaging over 400 yards a game.
That's ridiculous.
That's what we was doing back in 2016. We was putting up 40 points a game. I mean, we was giving up 40 and 30 points a game too. But that's what I missed, bro. That's what I missed. I missed Matt Ryan and Julio Jones having a 500 yard passing game and a 300-yard receiving game in one game. That's what I miss. That's what we're used to. And we're not used to this handicap offense, this high school offense, an offense that wouldn't even be successful on the college level. It's just too handicapped. Like, I just don't like it. But it's okay because we will have a new quarterback next year and have a new offensive coordinator and a new head coach. Like, a new scheme is coming, a new head of the snake is coming, so we'll be okay. Like, hopefully, I mean, we should be okay. Like, I don't know, bro. I just can't deal with. It's just heartbreaking to watch, bro. It sometimes the offense just gets so unwatchable, and I'm just ready for change, bro.
Well, the other there's so much news. I keep talking about it. Other big news is Bill Belichick is no longer with the Pats after 24 years, and one of the first things that came out was that he will be going. Well, one of his landing spots would be the Falcons.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, perfect.
What are your thoughts about a 72, 73-year-old Bill Belichick becoming the Falcons' new head coach?
No, bro. No, like we're too young, and I like, no disrespect to Bill Belichick. He's a great coach. He's probably the GOAT. Like, he's probably the greatest coach of all time in the NFL. But we need something young. We need something new. Like, we need a fresh start. I'm sorry, he can't come here. And then on top of that, he beat us in the Super Bowl. What, we got to deal with people on Twitter again? Oh, you couldn't beat him, so now you're something like. But I just don't want to deal with that. I'm tired of being the laughing stock of the league, bro. Like, no, he can't come here. This is not.
And I know I
our
actually
city.
had down.
This is not even the city for him. Like, no.
No, this is the city for him. He doesn't really fit that. But I know I had down what the interview request of the Atlanta Falcons included: Mike McDonald, Baltimore defensive coordinator, Steve Wilkes, San Francisco defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, Detroit Lions defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris, LA Rams.
Raheem Morris can't come back. No, we need something new. Like, Raheem Morris was our interim coach. He was a good coach. He was a good defensive coach here. But no, like I'm saying, like, I don't even know why we're doing this. We need something new.
These are just some of the interview requests I'm seeing right now, and I'm looking at.
We need a whole new culture. And that's another thing that people was trying to say about Arthur Smith. Oh, he came over, he changed the culture. What culture? What culture? A 7-10
Dan
culture?
Quinn had
We went 7-10, 7-10. That's not no culture. He came in, and yes, he did change the culture to another losing culture. It's not like he changed it in a good way. We did the same thing every single year. So he came and did what? He came and brought another losing culture to the city.
6-year playoff drought. It's crazy.
No, that is insane. That's kind of depressing, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I feel bad for you, bro.
It is, bro.
I honestly
do
feel bad for, like,
I'm a Raiders fan.
Yeah. Especially in a year like this, bro. Like, and that's why I said this year was so hard for me, and this was the most depressing year to have as a Falcon fan, because we literally had handouts. We had handouts, bro. We had a free lane to the playoffs. It was like, no way we should not have made it. I could have been the quarterback, and we still should have made it, bro. It's just
Okay,
no
that's
way.
insane. That's
It's
insane.
just no way that we didn't make the playoffs. We had the worst schedule. We had the worst schedule, strength of schedule in the league.
Oh,
The
he's hurt.
weakest division, and we still did not do nothing. I'm talking
he's
about
hurt.
Will Levis makes his NFL debut against us and looks like Tom Brady. Kyler Murray, first game back off of injury, looks like Michael Vick out there. Sam Howell, Washington Commanders, they come in and punch us in our mouth.
Oh.
Yeah, that
was when the Commanders was hot, though. That was early in the season.
That was Eric Bieniemy. That was Eric Bieniemy, your future head coach.
Hey, Sam,
I like Bieniemy. You think Bieniemy can come to Atlanta?
That game ended on an interception, though.
You think Bieniemy can come to Atlanta?
I'm just saying that I'm just looking at the betting odds.
We need him.
Eric Bieniemy, I think, had the fourth highest odds.
Which team you talking about? Commanders or Falcons?
for the Falcons.
Yeah, I'll take Bieniemy. I'll take Bieniemy. I'll take Ben Johnson.
We need him, bro.
Yeah,
we need
Brian
him.
Callahan was also one of the coaches that the Falcons requested an interview, offensive coordinator for the Bengals, and Bobby Slowick,
Didn't I
offensive
hear somebody
coordinator for the
from
Texans.
Houston? Didn't we request somebody from Houston?
Yeah, Bobby
Yeah,
Slowick,
oh,
Houston offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Weaver, associate head coach and D-line coach for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I saw
that. Yeah,
bro, and the thing is, like, Gas done been to multiple Falcon games with me, bro. He know that we don't deserve this, bro. Like
the Dirty Birds nest is going to show out even if they're 2-13.
Bro, we don't deserve this, bro. We
to
deserve
the point where they're
playoff.
plastered in the parking lot before showing up to the game.
Yeah,
because
bro.
they love the
what's
Falcons,
up.
Easton included.
You know what's up, bro.
Score a touchdown against the Saints, and you hopping over the guardrails from side to side and get ejected for the season because you're so happy that the Atlanta Falcons scored a touchdown and are beating the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah. we went 1-1 against them this year.
I know. And the game that set it in stone that Arthur Smith was getting fired.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
bro.
I'll move over to a different team, the Eagles. I literally have no idea what happened to the Eagles this season. Just watching them go from winning every single game, and then just this.
But did y'all see how they were winning those games, though, bro?
Bro.
I'm gonna let Charles take it away. Charles, what happened, bro?
Bro, the coaching staff lost the locker room, bro. I don't know, like Mike Patricia with these plays, and then I forgot the OC name, but he's not that good. I think his name Brian Johnson or whatever his name is. He's not that. I ain't gonna lie, the offense straight, but the defense is really killing us right now, and I feel like they losing faith in themselves. Like the defense can't stop anybody, so now the offense got to score every drive just to make it a close game. And now, recently, I don't even know about these losses, bro. I don't know who these people are, bro.
East to your point, like where you were saying, look at how they were winning these games. I know you're gonna talk about like how much they run the ball and stuff like that. Like Jalen Hurts doesn't put the ball in the air that much.
We beat the Dolphins by like 30.
No, what I was saying about when I said how they're winning those games, I'm saying they had like 3 games in a row where they was getting blown out, where they had to come back and win the game. Like it's not like they were just when they were undefeated, it's not like they were just like running over everybody. Like there was just some tough games. They were honestly overrated at the time, and it caught up to them. It caught up to them. Caught up to them.
You cannot say that, bro. How can you go 10-1 and be overrated?
Hey, you finished the last 6 weeks of the season 1-5. So people were saying that y'all were over. People were saying when they were 10-1 or however they started, people were saying that they was overrated then. So when they finished the season 1-5, obviously those people who were saying that they were overrated then were correct. They obviously saw something.
No, bro.
They saw how y'all was winning, how y'all was scratching and clawing through those games. We saw that, bro. We seen it, like.
Bro. How can you? And mind you, this is the year after a Super Bowl appearance. Most teams don't even make it far after that. So, like, bro, you gotta cut on some slack with that. I think they just
ain't no cutting no slack nowhere. Eagles is supposed to be the best team. They should be a top 3 team in the league. That's what they should be right now. They are. Y'all aren't.
Can I say something right here?
Y'all not even top 3 in the NFC right now. Y'all finna go. Y'all gotta come see the Bucks.
Crazy take, bro. Name 3 teams in the NFC.
How is that a crazy take? 49ers, Lions.
Oh yeah, you're high, bro. The Lions are better than us? Are you crazy?
Have you not watched the Lions?
Goodness.
Bro, come on,
Have
bro.
you not watched the Lions?
Bro, yes, bro. And they're not better than Philly, bro.
Lions will put up 50 on y'all.
No, they wouldn't, bro. Because Jared Goff and that entire franchise ain't built for it yet. Yeah, they made the playoffs now, stuff like that. But they're not better than Philly, bro. This is a culture, bro. Look at the Lions' culture before this year, bro.
That doesn't mean nothing.
Dan Campbell is a leader of men.
That doesn't mean
he's not an X's and O's guy. Dan Campbell's a leader of men. Nick
And what is
Sirianni,
Nick
on the other hand, is an X's and O's guy.
Their offense is elite. Detroit has an elite offense, bro.
Bro, y'all, the Lions are not better than the Eagles, bro. That's the crazy thing you said today. Like that's the crazy.
Yo, what is crazy about that? So what's your how do you feel about the Lions? How do you feel about the Lions?
Oh, good.
I think the Lions are a good team. They're on the come up, but they're not gonna go far.
Bro, honestly, I could say any team on the NFC side, I could literally put them over the Eagles, and it's not a crazy take. Y'all literally finished the season 1-5. I could take anybody over y'all. That's not a crazy take for me to say.
1-5 with Jalen being hurt, the defense being at an all-time worst. We're talking about franchise worst, bro. The defense is bad right now. You're gonna say you're gonna put us that low in the NFC, bro, because we went 1-5 with an injured quarterback, injuries throughout the offense, bro. We've had a couple inconsistent
So what am I
lineups.
supposed to do? So wait, how y'all finish this season? I'm supposed to just put y'all atop of the NFC. Hey, we're the Eagles. We have this winning culture. We done tote away our season. We're the Eagles, though. We're the Eagles. Even though we're the Eagles, we finished 1-5. But since we're the Eagles, you can't put this team over us, bro. That's not how it works. Y'all didn't even win. Y'all didn't even win. Y'all didn't even win y'all division,
though. We're second in our division, bro. We finished 1-5. That's expected, but we made it.
But the thing is, y'all at the top of the NFC East, and y'all lost it. That's the whole thing that I'm
focusing. Y'all started 10-1 and lost your division. It's not a crazy take.
Y'all can't lose the division to the Cowboys.
Bro, this is a bad year.
Even the Cowboys was choking these last
few
weeks.
This is a bad year for us, bro. This is a bad year. I'll give you that. This is a bad year. But our bad year still got us in the playoffs. And with the team being this team, bro, you can't count them out until they are out of the playoffs, bro. Because this team could easily make it to the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl, bro. All they gotta do is wake up. It's the same team that went 10-1. All they gotta do is get that team back, and they'll be all right. And the Buccaneers are a perfect team to do it to, because the Buccaneers suck and they riding on Baker Mayfield, bro. And they're gonna get violated by these.
But I do have
two things I'm gonna say.
Been hot the last few weeks. I mean, I'm a Falcon fan still, so I don't really like the Bucs, but.
Two things I'm gonna say. The bye week, you guys. Those weeks 1 through 9. AJ Brown caught 67 receptions on 92 targets for 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. From weeks 11 through 17, he's got 38 receptions for 442 yards with only 1 touchdown. And in weeks 1 through 9, he had 18 20-yard receptions. He's got 3 to finish out the season.
Right. That goes 2 ways, bro. Part of that is on AJ, and part of that is on the OC. Because if you watch the games, bro, AJ has not been looking like how he looked in the beginning of the season. Regardless, it's not like he's not getting these balls thrown to him and he's wide open, bro. I don't know what he's been doing out there, but for one, every slant route he go on, he fumbling. So I mean, what like you gotta realize, bro. But like it's 2 ways though. It's 2 ways because the OC ain't been throwing it to him, but AJ also hasn't been performing like he did in the beginning of the year. So yeah, and Schmidt been doing all right.
With how bad the defense is this season, how far do you think like that will take y'all? Like, just like, do you even think you'll win this game against the Buccaneers with defense?
Yeah, I think we'll beat them.
Yeah, I think so. Because I was looking at it, the Eagles have the 26th ranked pass defense right now.
Yeah, I was looking at that too.
Miscommunication is a true thing amongst the defensive secondary, and however, you're going against Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and you just don't know what Baker or what Mike Evans you're going to get out of that day. Mike Evans may look like he's a first ballot Hall of Famer for 1 quarter or in the red zone, and look like he's Lewis Murphy the rest of the game. So you just don't really know what you're getting out of that, and who you're getting. He might catch for 200 yards, and if that's the case, the Eagles are in trouble because that's exactly what they'll need. The defensive front for the Eagles has never really been an issue, especially in terms of stopping the run. Just looking at the guys up the middle, you got Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox and Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Hassan Reddick, and Nakobe Dean, and we can go on. You know, they have a pretty deep front, but you look at the secondary and they get torched. And when you go up against the team and you go up against a team who's clicking offensively in the passing game. That being stated, the Eagles are the 4th-ranked team in the NFC according to Pro Football Focus. They are behind the number 1 being the 49ers, number 2 being the Cowboys, and number 3 being the Lions. So we'll obviously, though, we don't know. I mean, I would say I'm not now. The 49ers, I feel, are going to the Super Bowl, but I think. I forgot who said it. Quarterbacks, defenses, and the team will get you to the Super Bowl, but quarterbacks win them.
Exactly.
And
so how San Francisco make the Super Bowl?
They're losing to the Ravens. So the teams could get there. The quarterback. Here's the thing: Brock Purdy. Here's my thing too, and I'm sorry, we're gonna go off topic real quick because this is something I gotta get off my chest.
Oh, Brock Purdy. So go ahead, bro.
Anyways, I could not stand that Brock Purdy was being considered for the MVP. You got the team with the most Pro Bowlers. Was it 9 Pro Bowlers? And don't get me started on a couple of guys that probably made it in the years prior. But 9 Pro Bowlers this year leading the way. You got first ballot Hall of Fame left tackle. You got George Kittle at tight end, Pro Bowler. We got Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk on Pro Football Focus is ranked the 2nd best wide receiver in the league, behind only Tyreek Hill. You got Deebo Samuel, and I've got in the backfield, I've got Kyle Juszczyk, who's the best fullback in the league, and I got the best running back in the league, and Christian McCaffrey. Defensively, I've got a defensive line as Nick Bosa on one end. I got Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave, and I got Chase Young on the other side. I'm sorry, we acquired him mid-season from the lovely Commanders for a stupid trade. For a bag of chips. Anyways, you got Fred Warner at the middle linebacker. Got Dre Greenlaw, who likes to play Madden and hit stick people all game.
I love Greenlaw, bro. I love Greenlaw.
We've got Javarius Ward on the outside, and they play some tough physical football. And yeah, well, what the thing is that are you going to sit here and say that Brock Purdy is better than Joe Burrow?
I mean, we could say this year.
No. Are you gonna? No. If you had to lead your franchise, if you're gonna build your franchise around somebody, are you gonna say Brock Purdy is better than Joe Burrow? What about is Brock Purdy better than Lamar Jackson?
No.
Is he better than? Are you gonna build your franchise around Brock Purdy instead of Josh Allen?
We all know this, but he's perfect for the situation that he's in.
Yeah, anybody can do it. I can play quarterback on that team. I'm gonna go out.
He shouldn't be in the MVP conversation.
No, I'm gonna call a play call right now. I've never called play calls in the NFL. You know what I'm gonna do? First play, I'm gonna hand off weak side. I'm gonna go in a single back formation, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. I'm gonna run to the left side of Christian McCaffrey. Next play, I'm gonna throw a wide receiver screen. I'm gonna go 3 wide. I'm gonna do a bunch formation. I'm gonna throw a wide receiver screen to Deebo Samuel. Next play, I'm gonna do a play action pass to Christian McCaffrey. I'm gonna throw to George Kittle on a corner. You know how easy that sounds?
Yeah,
okay, that's cool. Bro. That's cool. He shouldn't be in the MVP conversation. Just listen to what I'm saying. He shouldn't be in the MVP conversation. And he's definitely not a playmaker, but he's a great game.
Yeah, anybody can do that. He's a captain of a cruise ship as opposed to an engine of a Ferrari. Not everyone can be an engine of a Ferrari.
Can just be in his situation and just be successful.
They can. Any good quarterback can. You don't think Lamar Jackson would be in there and they would have 49ers
if Lamar Jackson was in that system, they would have a whole new offensive scheme.
They would still be great with those pieces. So you mean to tell me if you were to put Christian McCaffrey, if you put Christian McCaffrey on the Ravens and you put George Kittle, no, they got Mark Andrews. Let's just keep it as that. But you put Brandon Ayuk on the Ravens right now, and you put Deebo Samuel on the Ravens right now.
Mm-hmm. What
you put Trent Williams at left tackle over Ryan Stanley.
So listen, that's the point that I'm trying to make. it don't matter if you was to bring all of those players in and swap them out into the Ravens offense, it would still be the offensive scheme that the Ravens have now. Their offensive scheme is around Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is not a game manager. He's a playmaker. No matter the offense that he's going to be on, the scheme is going to be around him. It don't matter the pieces that he have. Those pieces are just a plus for him.
Yeah, that's the same thing with the 49ers quarterback situation.
Is Brock Purdy any different than Jimmy G? If you really think about it,
Then
No.
who?
Jimmy G.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, he's not a playmaker. He's a game
He's
manager.
the same thing as Jimmy G, just a
What
bit
play that
younger and a more upside.
What you say?
What's gonna happen is
that made
you're
you
gonna
think
have a recreate of the 2017 and 18 Eagles. That's what's gonna happen. You're gonna have Nick Foles and Carson Wentz looking like MVP candidates and looking like Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, and they're gonna get paid. And then once they take away all the weapons in the defense, is gonna find out that they'll never be able to get back to that point. Because they were never actually truly that good. It was actually the team and scheme around them that was compensating, making them look good. And you get guys who look at wins and losses rather than the overall play of a quarterback.
I still see
Just
this
like
as
how
hate,
you
bro.
see Matthew Stafford and Derek Carr get
I still see this as hate, bro.
as what?
As hate.
As
This
hate?
is Brock Purdy hate.
It's not Brock Purdy hate.
rated,
This
bro.
is hating.
I just don't like the systematic overrating of him just because of wins and
He's
losses.
definitely in a system. He's in the best system in the league with Kyle Shanahan, who
Yeah,
is probably
he's
the
a
greatest
system
offensive
quarterback,
mind
and that's
ever
okay.
played.
That's okay to be a system quarterback. You
It
can
is,
make the
but
argument for some of the game's best
you
quarterbacks
are
being
a
system
system
quarterbacks.
quarterback, not everybody can just come into a system and just fit in perfectly like he did and know how to utilize his pieces or be as smart as he is and how he fits in with that system out there. Not anybody can just do that. Okay,
I
the
think he
top
kind of
40,
can. Kyle Shanahan has done that throughout his career.
Not anybody can do that though, bro.
I think
Not
Kyle
everybody can
Shanahan's
just go
done
do
that
that.
throughout his
Not
career.
anybody can just go do that, bro.
Because Jimmy Garoppolo, you can't forget Jimmy Garoppolo went to a Super Bowl and was it 2 or 3 NFC Championship games?
Mhm.
You can't say that he didn't have a something to do with it. Yes, they won in spite of him sometimes, but you can't say that he didn't just go in there and manage the game. Brock Purdy's
Yes,
just coming in
exactly.
and just a bit more
That's what I said.
accurate
I never said
in
that Jimmy
managing
G.
the
I never
game.
said that Jimmy G and Brock Purdy were playmakers. They are game
Yes,
managers.
yes, they're game
They are
managers.
good game managers, which is why they fit in like how they're doing in that scheme. Like, which is why why they were successful in that scheme. That's why Brock Purdy is successful in that scheme. He's a good game manager.
And here's the thing, and
There's
I've
nothing
said this
wrong with
before.
being a game
There's
manager.
nothing that really pops off the table with them. Sam Darnold can go in, and they're still going to have the same amount of wins. I think, and I said this, and people looked at me crazy, and they said, "Oh, that's not true." Oh, yeah, that's not true. But guess what? Did you look at Week 18? Yeah, he threw a pick at the end, but you know what? That was because he was playing without Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams and all the defensive playmakers, and he lost by 1 point to a playoff Rams team who was playing for their playoff lives.
Mhm.
I don't know about Sam.
It's
He's kind of trash.
the one possession to a Rams team who was playing with the season on the line, and you got the 49ers just cakewalking, sitting everybody. And Sam Darnold had them because of that scheme, had them right there where they needed to be. Granted, he threw a pick. Granted, if I think he had Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk playing and George Kittle and Trent Williams and Nick Bosa and and the list goes on, they probably win the game handedly.
Mhm.
But I've said this already before, and I'm gonna say it again. Sam Darnold can go in there, and he's probably, in my opinion, he's actually always been more talented than Brock Purdy. It's just he makes stupid decisions. So as opposed to Brock Purdy is just doing what the play call says. When we watch the Ravens and 49ers game, how many times did we see Brock Purdy coming up and do a Tom Brady audible? Can you vividly remember it? I was watching for it. No, he's going in and going with a play that's freaking called, maybe making a route adjustment and calling out an ID in the mic and maybe someone who's blitzing. That's about it. He's not changing out the formations. He's not Tom Brady, Peyton Manning game managing. He's going out there and running with the freaking play. That's credit to Kyle Shanahan. Credit to him being a young quarterback and knowing that all the pieces are around you. You just have to plug and play and fill the hole and just play the game. But reality is that he's not a field general. He's just a game manager.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Can you just please tell me that? Can you just please say that there's nothing wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that because you're winning games.
Okay.
I just don't like the overrating aspect.
Okay.
Of it, and the overrating aspect having, he's the best game manager in the league. So he's going to get MVP nods. Oh no. I say the MVP goes to, if I had to put a price tag on your performance of the year, it'll be the most valuable, the most valuable price tag in the league.
MVP?
Who do I have as the MVP? Lamar Jackson. That's the most valuable.
LJ.
Yeah, Lamar is definitely MVP.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you go based off my definition, most valuable, value meaning money. If I had to put a price tag on how good, on how much I would pay for that performance on my football team, he had the highest pay. He has the highest pay.
I'll rock with that. That's actually a valid synopsis of it. I'd like that.
Yeah, that's just, if I had to pay money for his performance on my football team, if we put a value, a market value on his performance, what is the market value?
Right.
For Purdy's?
And I'm just talking about in general, if you're talking about a running back, what's their market value?
Mm-hmm.
That's the most value, and the overall biggest market value in the league is the MVP.
That's low-key facts.
So for the sake of time, we're just going to talk about the wild card games this week, and I'm going to name the teams playing. Just give me what team you think is going to win. So we're going to go down the line. East, I got you first. Browns versus Texans.
All right, so look. I'm loving Joe Flacco right now, bro.
Joe Flacco man of the year.
I'm sorry. I want to see Joe Flacco win, bro. I'm going for the Browns. I'm taking Browns.
Okay.
Shout out to CJ Stroud though, but give me Browns. Give me Joe Flacco.
All right. Dolphins versus Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I'm gonna get to you, Gaskin. You got Chiefs?
I got Chiefs.
Okay. Steelers versus Bills.
I got Josh Allen, bro. I got
Packers versus Cowboys.
Cowboys.
And then Eagles versus Bucks.
Pause. News just broke. Kalen DeBoer is the Alabama head coach.
I got Eagles. What you say?
Just now. Kalen DeBoer is the Alabama head coach. Just happened right now.
Okay. But I got Eagles
over Bama. What you say?
I said I got Eagles over Bucks.
Okay. All right, Gaskin, it's on you now. Browns versus Texans.
Browns versus Texans. I look at that matchup. I can't help but think about Amari Cooper catching for 265 yards on 15 targets and 2 touchdowns in Houston. I got the Browns.
Okay. Dolphins, Chiefs.
Dolphins, Chiefs. I'm gonna go with I think the matchup play is here. I'm going with the Dolphins in this matchup. However, it's honestly a toss-up. I probably would have that's a tough one. The Dolphins, who play in Miami, Florida, are going to be playing in a Kansas City game that's going to be about with wind chills up to 10 below zero.
Patrick Mahomes.
I want to favor the conditions of the Chiefs. If I had to put this on paper, I would say the Dolphins. I'm just looking at Tyreek Hill won't be affected by any means, but I think the defense might let up a bit too much for the Dolphins' liking. Okay. However, the Chiefs won't be able to move the ball that much. Probably passing wise, they already dropped too many passes. Jalen Ramsey's is playing like himself outside of a couple of blunders each week. Last time the Dolphins were in cold weather, they got beat 56-19. That was in Baltimore on New Year's Eve, as you all remember. So Actually, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs on this one. I'm gonna
Thank
go with
you.
the Chiefs on.
Steelers versus Bills.
Steelers, Bills. I got the Bills on that all day, every day.
Right. Packers versus Cowboys.
Cowboys covering that spread.
Eagles, Bucks.
Eagles, Bucks. I got the Eagles.
All right.
I don't know if they're
Charles.
covering though. I don't think they're covering.
Charles is on you now. Browns versus Texans.
You didn't say
Browns.
Rams, Lions.
Oh yeah,
Oh, my
Rams.
fault.
Oh, you ain't
How
asked me
dare
that
you?
one either. I'm taking Lions.
Yeah.
I'm taking Lions.
Okay.
Wow.
I completely forgot
Yeah,
about that.
I got the Lions in that covering that spread.
Okay. Charles.
All right, which one are we on?
Browns versus Texans.
Browns,
Dolphins, Chiefs.
Dolphins, bro. Dolphins gonna pull one out, bro. They gonna really put Mahomes on a pedestal, bro, and just
But like Gaskin said, bro, they're playing in some cold weather, bro.
ready, bro.
They coming from Miami, Florida, and going to Kansas City playing some cold weather, bro. This is not their conditions.
If the Dolphins just don't turn the ball over, they'll win a game because the Chiefs suck.
It's not that simple, bro.
I promise.
It's not that simple. It's not that simple. It's playoffs and it's Patrick Mahomes. It's not a regular season game. It's not that simple.
You right.
Patrick
Yeah, it says
Mahomes is
the
gonna
high of
show
the day
Patrick
on
Mahomes.
Saturday is going to be 7 degrees, the low being 9 below zero. Wind chill might have it down to about 15 below zero.
Mhm.
Hey, look, bro, when you on that field, bro, them pads on, bro, none of that matter.
Nah, 15 below zero.
Tomorrow,
That matters.
this
That matters.
weekend, Patrick Mahomes is going to
Give me
show.
the Dolphins, bro. Give me the
This
Dolphins.
weekend, Patrick Mahomes will show why he is the greatest quarterback
That's like
in the league, bro.
that's like telling a baseball player that you're playing 110 degrees don't matter. That matters.
All right. Steelers versus Bills.
Bills,
Packers, Cowboys.
Packers, bro. Packers
Eagles.
about to shock the world. I promise you. The Cowboys, when the pressure's on, the Cowboys fold, bro. It's history. It's just gonna repeat itself. Even if it doesn't happen this week,
oh no,
it's gonna happen.
not for game one. Not for game one. Not for that one.
The Packers have a pretty
They're
convincing record
in
over the
Dallas.
Cowboys
There's just
in the
no
playoffs.
way. The Packers honestly weren't even the best team to even get in. The Saints were a better team than them. That's my thing. So they got in based off of tiebreakers because they beat the Saints when Derek Carr got hurt, and the Saints blew that 17-0 lead, and they couldn't score a ball with Jameis Winston in. However, without that situation, they're not even the better team. They probably get handled by Dallas pretty handedly. I just don't see them being good enough offensively in terms of running game or passing game to be able to make an impact on the Dallas Cowboys defense. The Dallas and offensive line play has been very weak, so I just expect those pass rushers to feast. DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons probably going to have a big day. And CD and
you gotta count that in. You gotta count that in, bro. This is the playoff. Cowboys don't play playoff football.
I don't care about the playoff or not. You still got to play football, and they're just not that. They're not the better
And the
football
game is
team
in
by
Jerry's
any
world,
means.
bro.
They're not even in comparable to the Cowboys to me. So they're not as good as the Saints.
It's gonna be closer than you think. But what's the next team?
Eagles versus Bucks.
Obviously, bro, Eagles gonna beat them by like 35 points, bro. I'm gonna be completely honest. If you look at how the two teams match up on paper, the game really should be forfeited before it even starts, just to save Baker Mayfield's contract, and just save the Buccaneers some type of dignity in themselves. Because what's gonna happen on that football field, bro? I promise you, the Eagles are mad,
bro. This would be a whole different conversation. This conversation right now should be Eagles Falcons round 1 in Atlanta. I'm so mad right now, bro.
Okay, bro.
Right.
It's okay. It's a first round bounce regardless for whoever is facing Philly now.
Yeah,
y'all wasn't coming in the Benz and beating us, bro.
He would have came in the Benz and left with 30 cars, bro.
Oh my god.
Nah.
Okay. All right.
My car is still
last-
parked at the State Bar of Georgia right there. I would have been. It would have been a tough
last
day.
teams. Lions, Rams.
I don't know, bro. You gotta give me the Lions though. Lions valid.
Okay.
Lions.
All right. For me,
But can we can't skim over the storyline there in that game.
Yeah,
Nah, yeah.
exactly. With Matthew Stafford coming
The
back,
Matthew
Jared
Stafford
Goff.
going
Yeah.
back into Detroit in their first playoff game,
right.
and it's staring around. As Pat McAfee said, you got the Detroit Lions fans happy to get in, and now you're staring down the old doggy right there.
Yeah,
He's already got Super Bowl rings.
It's gonna be electric. It's gonna be electric.
I can't
It's going
wait.
to be
I'm so
electric.
excited for this weekend, bro.
You've got the Lions. You got the Rams coming in. They barely got the playoffs, but you just can't. Hey, the don't be surprised. This comes down to a 1-2 point game at the end of the regulation, maybe an overtime game. We're looking at a Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp finally started to look like himself. Puka Nacua breaking the rookie receiving record,
He went
and
ridiculous.
he went with Ripon and Stafford throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It wasn't like he had Stafford the entire year, and he still did it.
It's gonna be a good game. It's not gonna be like a blowout. It's gonna be close.
Obviously,
It's gonna come down to the wire.
the Rams defense isn't what it's been in years prior. There's no longer Jalen Ramsey holding down the fort of the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
They still play physical football, though. No, they don't play really physical football, but they've been playing a lot more physical than years prior. Not as finesse like where San Francisco just dominated them up front all the time. But they still play a brand of football that you just don't necessarily want to see in the playoffs. If Matthew Stafford starts picking apart your defense, and you got Cooper Kupp and you got Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams, oh my goodness.
Mm.
The year that he's had. No, I don't think anyone stated that. Okay, and if they did, I want to see what the preseason odds were on Kyron Williams going to lead the league in NFL rushing. That is who said that? Who said that this year?
So for my picks, I was gonna say the Texans at first, but then I did think about Joe Flacco and the the comeback season he's having and stuff like that. Plus they're going to be in Texas. They've beaten the Texans 36-22 when they played in Texas. So yeah, I'm taking Browns over there. Dolphins versus Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs. Even though they both had like similar seasons, like when it came to like wins and losses, they both had similar seasons, especially before the bye week in week 10, where the Chiefs beat them in week 9, but they both had similar seasons. I think it's going to come down to who's hotter, honestly. And right now, that's the Chiefs. The Dolphins just dropped their last 2 games of the season. So I'm taking the Chiefs. Steelers versus Bills. I got Bills. They got that new offensive coordinator in the middle of the season. They haven't lost a game since. Packers versus Cowboys. I actually don't know. Like I'm kind of torn on that. I like Jordan Love. Don't like the Cowboys, but the Cowboys are not a bad team. Cowboys are trying to get their run game going too with Tony Pollard and stuff like that. So it's gonna be tough. I'm just gonna say I got the Cowboys. Eagles versus Bucks. It's gonna sound crazy, but I got the Buccaneers. I'm sorry, Charles.
Bro,
Rams.
I'm
sorry.
I like it.
I'm sorry.
you gotta explain.
I like it.
Yeah, you got to explain. You got to explain.
because-
Why do you have the Buccaneers over the Eagles in playoff time football? You don't think it's gonna? They probably self-scouted. They possibly coached it up. They probably hashed it out. Granted, I did see something about AJ Brown not going through drills today, or like certain drills that all the Eagles wide receivers were doing. I don't know, but
Because here's the thing. You don't, like you said, with Mike Evans, you don't know what's gonna happen with him. If he's on, bro. And if that secondary for the Eagles is trash, they're trash, bro. Like it's just
it
you
might
don't
be
know
a
what's
very
gonna happen.
long day for some of those guys.
But I'm gonna take the risk with the Buccaneers. I'm gonna take
So you
that
think
risk.
Baker
Can
Mayfield,
I say one thing though? Can I say one
Baker
thing?
Mayfield and Mike Evans are gonna put up more points and a better production than Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith and AJ Brown in one game?
Charles,
AJ
what makes
Brown
you
ain't been
think?
on.
What make you think that this game is going to be a blowout though? Like this is definitely going to be a good game. The game is in
The
Tampa
same
Bay.
reason as
The
the
Bucks.
Falcons playing, bro. It's
said
not the
what?
same level of competition, bro.
Okay,
It's
bro.
not the level.
Bucks
It's not
finished
the
the
same level.
year. Bucks finished the year stronger than y'all. Besides week 17, they finished the year stronger than y'all.
Bro, we lost 5 games, bro. We lost 5 games this year, right? 5 games.
Yeah.
That's how bad
Yeah,
the Eagles are. The Eagles are so bad they lost 5 games in a season. That's what everybody's saying.
My thing is, the Bucks and the Saints are better teams than the Packers. So that's just random thought. If you like the Packers, it's kind of hard to not like the Bucks here. Okay.
Look, I'm just gonna stick.
Oh, you're hating because you're a Commanders fan. That's why.
No, that's no. We suck. There's nothing I can do about this season.
He's just hating because he's a Commanders
I've had
fan.
the last 21
That's
years
all.
of my life.
He's all Cowboys. It's like he's saying the Chiefs are losing.
Bro, no. I don't like the Cowboys, but I do think they're going to win. I really do like the Eagles, bro, but I just don't think they're going to win, bro. I really like the Eagles, bro. Like they're one of the most fun teams I've watched this season. I don't care. It's not even about me being a Commanders fan, bro. But for Rams and Lions, that's probably going. Like I said, one most electrifying wild card game probably of all time. I don't care, but I got Lions, so that's it.
All I know is, I said something earlier. Kyron Williams does not lead the league in rushing. It's just his yards per carry was tops. In 12 games, he ran for 1,144 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So. That 12 games, who knows what would happen if he had 5 more games underneath his belt. I think he could have ran for 200 more yards and would have led the league in rushing. But that's just neither here or there. But, hey, another thing, because they just finalized it, guys. Alabama has to pay Washington a $12 million buyout.
For DeBoer?
Yeah, for DeBoer. $12 million buyout, and I'm trying to find the terms, but yeah, it's pretty much finalized.
Okay. Well, that's gonna be something to see.
I think he's getting around $10 million.
Yeah,
it says he's going to double his It's going to more than double his $4.2 million annual salary.
But for the sake of time, I gotta head to a meeting in a minute. But East, Gaskin, Charles, thank you all for joining me today. It was a great episode. I loved everything I had to say. It was one of the best episodes we've had yet. So look, just if I need college football, I'm gonna come to y'all first, always, bro. Thank y'all thank y'all so much for coming on.
Of course.
Have a good weekend, bro.
Yeah, y'all too, man. Please stay safe. It's gonna be a great week for football, man. Thank you all for joining us today. Happy New Year's, everybody. Stay safe.
I don't get pissed about nothing but this great country.
Blitz, Bama, Blitz.
Blitz, Bama, Blitz.
I was at the Rose Bowl tailgate.